Hello dear all beautiful learners, welcome again here for connecting a new class of your science subject. We were connecting here on chapter 4 and we learned many of the things here. I hope so you get the better understanding of our previous lecture. Today a new lecture with topics of pollination. So let's go to the pollination. Okay. Pollination. We will learn today pollination. Okay. In simply, we can say in definition the pollen transfer. From anther to stigma. Is simply called pollination. It is importantly we can think about that. The pollen transfer from anther to stigma, where actually anther and stigma, we know about the stamen and carpel on that male and female parts. Suppose here, if we think about that, this one is known as the stigma. I just write and make you understand in short way. And if we think about that, this one is the anther. Here the lots of pollen is there and it come to the here. That means when pollen come to fall on the stigma, come from the anther to stigma, that times it is called pollination. Just for having the transfer of pollen from anther to stigma, it may be from the same flower or different flower for same species. It can be happen, but not it is happen as like as suppose you take the China rose, cannot come pollen from the datura flower. It is of course will be there same flower. China rose same flower. If it is the anther will be there and fall on to the stigma of the same flower of China rose, it is okay, the pollination can be done. It can be happen also flower China rose this one and another China rose, from that anther come to the pollen come to the here and fall onto the stigma of the China rose. It cannot happen that China rose pollen can fall onto the another flower. Must be the same flower. It can be the same flower of different same flower it happened to there, or different flower of the same species can also be happen as like as pollen from the anther to stigma. It is very important. I told you that to understand that pollen transfer from anther to stigma, I write it very simply, but don't think about that any kinds of pollen, any flowers pollen can fall onto the another flowers, not chance. We know that China rose, when we draw the typical flower, we have seen that in the similar way there is the anther and stigma or stamen and carpel of the same flower, and same flower can also have that pollination, or it can have also be the different flower. Of course it can also be there the different flower of the same species, China rose to China rose, flower different can have to the pollination. Very important these topics, my dear students. I think you got that point, what I try to understand, make you understand. Okay. Why it is look like double, is it? Voice is double, is it? The voice is double. Hey, who told the voice is double? I have seen that Anwarul Karim told. Tell another student, any one student tell me that is the voice is double, is it? Is it happen to there? The voice is double. Walaikum assalam. Yes, I have seen many of you are joining there. Yamin, Shahrul Karim say that the voice is double. You can check your device, my dear students, why it is chance of voice is double. Rafi Rohan, Yamin, I told you for make you understand here of doing that one of specific points what we want to say now, that pollen from the same flower anther to stigma, transfer of pollen, that times we can say it is the pollination. It is very important to know. Okay, and same flower or different flower or same species of same species. Same species means China rose to China rose, Dhatura to Dhatura. Any kinds of flower can have in the similar flower, can pollination can be done, or different flower of the same species can be done. On the basis of that case, it can have that the difference. We can say yes. So on the basis of this pattern, we can go through understanding about two kinds. On the basis of this part, it be have done the two parts, and these two part is very important for knowing that one. Types. This is now types. We try to learn about the types of pollination. On the basis of the features, self-pollination, cross-pollination, self-pollination and cross-pollination. I told you that what is happening, and same flower or different flower of the same species. What I told, on the basis of that parts, the pollination are of two kinds. One is the self-pollination, another one is the cross-pollination. Yes, so first one, we can try to understand about the definition. Definition, I told you of the same flower. Okay, pollen transfer of the same flower. Okay, pollen transfer from similar from anther to stigma, of same flower or different flower of same plant. And here pollen transfer from anther to stigma from different plant of same species. What we actually want to say here, just look at here. I just making the drawing figure. If we try to draw, then we can easily understand. Suppose this one is a flower plant. Anther to stigma or anther to stigma of the same flower. Look at here. In the flower, there have chance it is a plant, one plant, flower in between them, in there the anther and stigma in the one flower, it can be happen of the same flower, same in that flower, anther and stigma, pollination can be done there, and same plant, one flower to another flower can also be done. It is the self pollination. But if it is happening like that, suppose if we think about that, the flower and this one, if we try to understand like that, suppose this one, it is the same plant, it is the different plant but same species, China rose, Datura, China rose, of course, in the same plant, flower different, the pollination can be done, self pollination, same flower, anther and stigma can have that pollination, self pollination, but in different plant, anther to stigma of the same species, when pollen transfer ensured, that times it is the cross pollination. I think now it is clear to you for understanding these topics. Okay, so this is the important one for having connection and understand that specific matters. We will go to the another points. I have seen the Yamin, Shahrul, Rahma, Sohel, Juhana, Ayman, then Intisha, Adhora, Rubayat Karim, then Imtiaz Reza, Ainul Karim, Sumaira, Shubhecha, Rafi Rohan, Adrito. Okay, all of you, we are very good morning to you all and welcome to that session. We already learned many of the things from there. The pollination is very important part for term exam. If you face the annual exam in our institution, it is one of the very important topics for asking the CQ types of question. So my dear students, I think you now it is clear. So where were you and where were I actually? We try to understand the difference between self-pollination and cross-pollination. That is not given in the book in chart, but it is easy way and it is asking for the compare the both pollination. What is happening and what is happening in between them, explain the difference and comparisons. Okay, so number 3, we will try to understand about the purity. Of course, this one is 1, 2, 3. Purity of a species. Purity, look at here. If we want to say purity, purify, and where is actually same flower, same plant that has the purity. That means there is no mixing, there is no chance of having. So purity maintain here, and I have written not maintain here. Okay, so tick sign means purity maintain here. You can write full. I just write short for make the study and looking view is easier. Cross means purity cannot maintain here. Okay, so this one. And number 4, medium. Look at here. There is medium is not mandatory, but must. Medium means what I actually want to understand, make you understand. That is medium. Suppose here air for air blowing or flower to flower, they can touch each other, the stigma and anther, so pollination can be done. But one plant to another plant have chance very few without medium. When any honeybee fall onto the flower of this one and go back to the another flower of another plant like same species, so just touching the pollen from them and fall onto the pollen to the stigma of the another flower of the same species. So in this way medium is mandatory, must. But here medium is not actually mandatory in case of the self pollination. Yes, Then number 5, what we actually say about that one is diversity. Since it is the same flower, same species, same thing, there is no chance of having diversity less. Cross means less, diversity less, and much diversity we have seen. Diversity. Suppose a honeybee from a region where there is no or not enough chance of getting that specific place, a China rose, suppose in Nilgiri, from there it come to the Chittagong city and fall onto the another flower of the same species, and some pollen grain was touched on there and can having the pollination. So variation, that flower species, since that is the China rose, this one is also China rose, so falling onto the same species, but area, the plant condition, the variation is different. So variation, diversity means variation can be found there. So it is easily understandable and gettable for the specific points. So my dear students, look at here, what is the very important points is not getting one. I think it is your problem, Shahrul, where a camera is standing there, camera is not moving. Where camera moves, camera is going on the properly going on. I have seen camera moves after sometimes. Where camera move, camera not moving there. So you can check your internet connection, hope so. So my dear student, this is very important topics we discussed today. That is the pollination is the pollen transfer from anther to stigma, is simply called pollination. From where to where, definition: pollen transfer from anther to stigma of the same flower or different flower of the same plant, same flower or different flower of the same plant, and pollen transfer from anther to stigma from different plant of the same species. It can be cross pollination. Figure we have seen the same flower or different flower of the same plant, but different flower of the different plant of the same species is the cross pollination. Purity maintained here, since the same, everything is same flowers or same flower of the same plant. So purity maintained, there is no chance of purity maintained properly. Then medium, there is not mandatory, since it is the same flower, and medium is must mandatory. Medium mandatory, okay, mandatory. And diversity is less, since there is not enough variation of the same flower, same species, but different plant have some variation and diversity. So this is very important one. Yes, now I will give you a HW task to do that. Write the importance of pollination. Okay, importance of pollination. Write some importance of pollination. So we learn from there, you can ensure the purity of the species, diversification. You can use this type also in the purity, okay, in the importance of the pollination. So write the importance of the pollination and submit as like as previous time in the comment box, below the comment box. So hope so you will getting fine. That's all about today with the new topics. In the next class we will discuss another new thing. Thank you everyone. Allah Hafiz.